Hey everybody, it's Mama G back again, and we're working on our sea lion. So if you haven't already gotten the first lesson, which is part A, you're going to want to look that up first and do that, because we drew this sea lion using just simple shapes first, and today we're going to be refining it. So here's what you need today. You're going to need the paper that you've already drawn your simple shapes on. So when I say supplies needed, it's your drawing of your sea lion made with just shapes. I'll show you that in a minute. You're going to need a pencil and an eraser. Optional supplies, if you printed out the photograph, great. You probably don't need the dry erase marker anymore or the plastic sleeve, but sometimes they are really helpful. This is again a photo taken by Eric Samble, who I follow on Instagram. Fabulous, fabulous pictures. I'm in the process of painting a leopard of his right now. Just phenomenal. Love it. So Eric, thank you so much. So guys, you can check out his Instagram, but make sure you ask for permission before you use any of his photos for references, because they belong to him. All right, so today, where are we going with today? Well, get out this picture right here. Not that one, but your shapes that you already drew last time, okay? That's what we're gonna need. Where we're going to today, though, is we're gonna refine it. Right now, it just looks like a bunch of shapes, little abstract, pretty cool, but it's not a sea lion yet. So I'm gonna show you how to take that and get it to this stage today, which is our refining stage. So you're going to need that eraser, because we've got to erase some marks. Right away, I'm going to get rid of any of my marks that are for showing us which direction, kind of the tilt. I need to find my eraser. I lost it. I'll have to use my kneaded eraser. Okay. So we don't need the areas where our shapes overlap. So it's those. And we don't need our tilt lines. So I can get rid of those right away. So already looks a little bit better. I'm also going to get rid of where those two intersect, and I'm going to get rid of what's hiding behind that and the bottom of this oval right here, because he's actually sitting on a rock, so we don't need that part. So that's looking a little bit better. And now I'm going to take this, and what I do as an artist is I take it shape by shape, and I think, okay, what does, if I were to make just the outside of this almost like the silhouette into just a line without really thinking about our sea lion, what does it do? Does the line stay straight? Is it curved just like this on the end? What's happening with it? So we have to be a little bit of an art detective. So on the front of this, it's almost a little bit flat on the front of our little guy, a little flat. And then it doesn't just bow up like this. Look what happens. It goes over almost straight. There is a little bit of a tilt on it, but it's going to go over a little bit first. Then what happens to the line? Well, when it gets to this point, it changes direction and it starts to go up slightly. It's still got a tilt on it. This is very flat. We can leave it just like it is if ours is already flat. But right here, take a look. As it comes around the corner here, this is where it really changes direction again. It eases around the corner here, it changes direction here, but it's not a really harsh point like I have right here. So what I have to do is kind of ease it into it. And also, he looks like he's got a little bit of an extra bump. Maybe he ran into a wall or something here, or hit his head. This has got to come around here a little bit smoother. And as it comes to this point, it doesn't have that sharp area right there, okay? Comes around nice and smooth and soft, so I'll get rid of that. His back is pretty flat. It doesn't really bump up so much like that. It kind of comes like this down. So it's pretty flat until it comes to about here. Look, this is where it really changes direction. And it goes almost straight down, but it's not a harsh turn. So when we get, and we can see how far up it is, about here is where it's going to change direction. And then it's just going to kind of come down into our rock. So we've got that right there. Okay, let's take a look at this right here. This can get a little tricky, because if you can see, there's some pretty cool wrinkles that are going on. Let's not worry about the wrinkles yet underneath here. Let's first get the basic shapes going on. So again, I go from simple to complex. So let's look at this. We did the front. Now we have to say, what is this doing right here? That's a pretty good angle. Do you see that angle underneath him? This one's not quite as angled. So I'm going to take this, and right away I'm going to angle that down. It's not sharp where it meets here. Again, forget those wrinkles, but it just kind of eases into this. Okay, so that's a soft curve right there. And then this is not bad right here, what I already have. It might be a little bit skinny. It looks like it bumps out just a tiny bit here, but not much at all, and then goes back. So there's not much to change on that one. Here we go. All right, we got that so far. Now let's take a look at this. Remember, this part right here, I kind of made up myself because it's kind of the back end of him, and I made it a flipper instead. So let me show you what I did. Where I wanted it to look like it met right here, I did a little bit of, again, a kind of easing into it. And then this stayed round, just like we have it. But I gave this a little end to his flipper. Watch what I did. I gave a little curve here and a little curve up. That's all I did there. So he's kind of like, hey, I'm just touching this rock over here. Okay? So just a little bit silly, but I didn't mind that. That looks good. Okay, last thing over here will be this flipper. And what did I do with this? Well, over here where it meets, right up in here, it actually has a little curve right here. So I let that curve, that little wrinkle right there, boop, came down here. It's not sharp here. Matter of fact, this is showing us a little bit of the underside of the flipper too. So I'm gonna let that touch the rock right here. That's this line. And then this line right here, I'm going to continue just where I already had it. So this part right here, later on you'll see, that's the underside of his flipper. It's cool, so we have him a little bit in kind of perspective here. Now I made his flipper a little bit long here. It stops right here within his, and I think, you know what I think happened? Yeah, this is what happened. I need to extend my rock a little bit, and his back needs to get a little bit bigger and down here, because I'm like wondering what's going on. He's looking kind of skinny. Okay, so as I look at this, he is too skinny. I'm going to make that adjustment right now. Okay, so we got that. Now his flipper. So right here, I can leave that part of it, but this, there's a little easing into it again, and I'm not going to connect it right here. Look over here. I know it looks like it might be connected, but we're going to do some stuff in shading, so we want to leave that alone right now. Okay, and his flipper doesn't go all the way to his bum. It ends before his bum, so I'm going to end it, and he has a cool little, almost like as if you were to add a triangle on the end here. Cool little thing like that. And if you want, you can make it a little bit longer, a little cooler. I kind of like that, though. Okay, and now for the rock. All I did for the rock was made it a little bumpy here on the end. I gave it some little pokies. And over here, I pretty much left it just a little wobbly, so it didn't look like it was just a straight line. Now all we have left to do is his eye and his ear and his mouth. So here's what I did before with his eye too. I keep putting his eye in the wrong place. All right, so if you look at his eye, we did say was a circle. But, and it is kind of tight to the top of his head, but not as tight as I have it. And also, if we look at where it breaks up in here, he's got a little bit more head behind him than he does in front of his eyeball. So I need to move his eyeball over just a little bit. Remember how I've said before too, don't erase your first one until you've made your correction, because sometimes people end up putting it in the same place. So that's why for a minute he had two eyeballs. There's his eyeball. Where does his ear go? Don't think of it as an ear, because if you do, you're going to be drawing some human ear on him. You'll be like, hey, no, that's not right. Okay, that is not correct. All right, here's what's going on. It's just like a little U shape, and it lines up almost with the bottom of his eye. So if you go over to the bottom of his eye and down a little, that's where you'll find his ear. And it's just this little curve, like a little U shape right there. Okay, his nose. His nose, we don't see the whole thing. We don't see all of this, okay? His head is not turned towards us. This is kind of a 3/4, not quite 3/4 profile. So it is a triangle for us, but you see a little space over here, okay? See that? With a straight line down, except for it is not totally, there's still a little bit of an angle on it, okay? So it's straight, but it's not vertical. And then he's got his little kind of smile going on here. Okay, there's that line. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change up his bottom lip a little bit here, or the bottom of his mouth, so it's a little rounder. Okay. That's pretty much all we need to do today, except we can add those wrinkles in. There's a little wrinkle here, but we have to remember, if there's a wrinkle, then the wrinkle bumps out, so it's going to go beyond what we already have. So he's got a couple wrinkles, but we need to erase that part of his body that's kind of was showing us where that was, because these wrinkles come this way and this way, okay? And when we go to shade them, they'll even look more cool. All right. So that's it for today. Get it to this point, and then the next time we come back again, I'm going to add a little bit underneath here. Whoop. Next time we come back, we're going to be doing the last part of our lesson. So thanks, guys. Have a good day. Let me know what you come up with. Love ya.